What's going on, everybody, and I hope you're enjoying your Thursday early afternoon so far. This is MYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets as they get ready for tonight's game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and how there's an opportunity right now for some of the players that have been on the bench or have had their minutes lessened over the past 20, 25, 30 games, that they're going to get their chance now to go on the court and see if they could potentially crack the rotation for the Brooklyn Nets for the rest of this NBA season and into the playoffs. Now, going into tonight's game against the Milwaukee Bucks, the first of a 9-game difficult stretch for the Brooklyn Nets, where they're going to be facing off against teams like the Nuggets, the Bucks, the Kings, the Thunder. They're going to be facing off the Heat, the Cavaliers, etc. The Nets are going to be going into this game without 5 of their key players in the rotation. Cam Johnson, who was out with right knee soreness. Royce O'Neal was out with left knee soreness. Nicholas Claxton, who's out with the left Achilles tendonitis and a right thumb sprain. Spencer Dinwiddie, who's getting a rest day off. And, of course, Ben Simmons, who's missed the last couple of weeks with left knee soreness and back soreness. It's going to open up opportunities for some of these players that have really not had the full opportunity to go out there on the basketball court and really show what they can do to help out this team and maybe get themselves into the rotation with the Brooklyn Nets heading into the later part of the NBA season and as we get closer to the playoffs. Guys like Yuta Watanabe, Edmund Sumner, Cam Thomas, Sharpe, Nerlens Noel, Seth Curry, Edmund Sumner, and Joe Harris and Patty Mills will all get their opportunities tonight to play a little bit more minutes with the amount of Nets that are going to be absent from tonight's game. They're going to get their chances to go out there and really show that they can find a way to sneak into this basketball rotation for the Brooklyn Nets and maybe be guys that can help make contributions for the Brooklyn Nets going into the end of the season. Because of the fact that some of these guys at points during this season have actually played pretty well for the Brooklyn Nets and have actually had some pretty solid play, maybe they can find a way to crack the rotation going forward. Maybe. The fact of the matter is, head coach Jacque Vaughn has already told the media and told the organization that he's planning on increasing the minutes of the starters and some of the key role players as well going into the end of this NBA season because he wants to get them ready for the NBA playoffs. As right now the Brooklyn Nets sit at 37-28, 6th place right now in the Eastern Conference, a game behind the New York Knicks for 5th place in the East. So Jacque Vaughn wants to get his starters right now ready. And I guess the Brooklyn Nets are just playing cautious right now while they're sitting out a lot of these guys. Ben Simmons is the only one that is really going to be out for a while. The other guys, I think he's just trying to keep them maintenance right now and not trying to stretch them out too much where they end up having some type of setback in their injuries or they end up having longer-term injuries for all 4 of them or all 4 of the other players going forward. So he figures give them a day off, let them rest, get them to about close to 100%, and then you can get them out there for their next game going forward. So right now, it's not a terrible thing. I mean, honestly, it's not a good look for the Nets going into this game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's not a very good look at all. This could get ugly very quickly for the Brooklyn Nets going against the Bucks, and this could be the fact that they're going to be missing so many key players. The defense is definitely going to take a hit. The Nets are going to have to rely on a lot of these younger players that have really not played that much in recent games. The past 10, 15 games, you're relying on guys that have really not gotten prominent minutes. They're going to have to go out there and they're going to have to step their games up because of the fact the Nets are sitting so many key guys. But right now, it's an opportunity. And opportunities don't always come around as often. But the Nets are letting some of these key guys go out there and get a chance to see if they play well enough and they've shown Jacque Vaughn well enough that these guys can potentially stick into the rotation. Remember, Cam Thomas and Edmund Sumner, when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were sitting out due to injury and Irving with his trade request, these guys were going out there and they were playing some of the best basketball any Nets player has played all season. And they pretty much were warranting big minutes for the Brooklyn Nets. So they've proven before they can go out there and make contributions for this team. You never know, if they play well enough, maybe they earn some minutes into the rest of the season and into the playoffs. Yuta Watanabe at the beginning of the season also was playing very well for the Brooklyn Nets. Patty Mills has had some decent games from here or there. Seth Curry's had some solid games. Same thing with Sharpe. Once or twice he's had some really good games. As well as Joe Harris. So these guys have not played horrible all the time. It's just obviously consistency has been something that has been missing from every single one of them throughout the NBA season. And because they have really not been able to give a whole lot in terms of the overall game on the court, whether it's they're weak offensively or they're weak defensively, that's the reason why their minutes have either been cut very short or they haven't been on the court as much. So this is going to give good opportunities for these guys to go out there and carve a spot in the rotation, because you're figuring once you get into the NBA playoffs, you're thinking your rotation is going to be down to about 7, 8, 9 players at most. You're going to want to have a few key players coming off the bench, and your starters are going to be the ones that are going to be playing a majority of the time going into the end of the NBA season, and of course ramping it up to the playoffs. So some of these guys, I really want to see what Sumner, Mills, Harris, Curry, Sharpe, Thomas, all these guys can do for the Brooklyn Nets, Yuta Watanabe, and see what they can do going forward. I really do. At the same time, we'll have to see. Because I'm encouraged by how some of these guys have played. I am. I'm encouraged by some of them, how they played. But at the same time, I got to see more. I got to see more for a reason to put these guys on the court. Obviously, tonight we have no choice. We don't have enough players to really not put them on the court. I mean, I'm expecting Jacque Vaughn to just go with it, because it's probably going to be an offense centered around Mikal Bridges to go out there and see if he can score another 30-plus points. The Bucks obviously know this. Now that you don't have Claxton in the interior on the front line, you don't have Cam Johnson's three-point shooting, you have Spencer Dinwiddie's playmaking, you don't have Royce O'Neal's 3-and-D play out there. The Nets are going to be more limited offensively and defensively too. Dorian Finney-Smith is going to have to be a guy that's going to have to play better on offense. The Nets are going to need Finney-Smith to be able to give them more on offense than he's been giving them recently. So look for Finney-Smith to potentially take a little bit of a jump offensively as well for the Brooklyn Nets going into tonight's game, because they're going to need it. The Nets are going to need something like that from Dorian Finney-Smith going into the season. But we'll have to wait and see. But you guys let me know in the comment section what you think about some of these role players for the Brooklyn Nets, and if they can maybe step up their games tonight in a very tough game against the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks. See if some of these guys can make enough of an impression to be able to go out there and prove to Jacque Vaughn and the Nets brass that they deserve a little bit more playing time during the last few games of the NBA season heading into the NBA playoffs, and if they deserve to be included in the NBA rotation. And as always, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel out. Give a sub to NYGJeffyT85 for more videos, for more news, updates, and chatter surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And as always, turn on that bell for notifications on when the next video or short will be dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. I thank you all very much. I hope everybody enjoys their Thursday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and guess what, everyone? We are all just living in it.